I would take the session forward by inviting Ms. Samiksha Pawar. Samiksha Pawar is a proficient food safety and regulatory affairs professional with a master's in nutraceutical. And currently, she is a quality and compliance officer at Lightfield Foods India, ensuring top tier quality and regulatory standards. She formerly served as an officer for academic programs at ITC EPSAN, coordinating with FSSAI and other governmental bodies. Over to you, Samiksha.
Thank you so much, Shivanshi. I'll just quickly share my screen. Please confirm if you're able to see it. I hope I'm clearly audible and you are able to see my screen.
Yes, yes, you're audible and the screen is visible.
Thank you. So I will be speaking about the guideline 17, reading and sorry. Okay. Will be talking about the guideline 17, read information on food labels to make informed and healthy food choices. I think all those who have spoken before me have set such a wonderful pace on what more should be included or how beautifully these guidelines can be evolved or improved or edited to include more and more consumer oriented topics into the guidelines. As I go ahead, I would like to start by explaining what the label is, and I think all the people, all the audience that is present here are very well versed with the uh, criticalities of how important a label is. But just to give a quick glance, uh, from a seller's perspective, what we call a label is a silent salesman. We all know. But from a buyer's perspective, which has been mostly the aim of these particular guidelines, the consumer's perspective, the label is a product navigator. We know it serves as a tool to explain the consumer on what are they buying. Link between the seller and the buyer is your label, and I think that is what matters when we have 70% of the millennials who prefer prepackaged foods for their convenience. We have a variety of people who make sure that they have prepackaged food stocked in heaps in their houses, and in a country which is growing from developing nation to developed nation, there wide rise in the consumption of prepackaged foods. And when we have such a rise happening, when we have such a progress happening, I think it is important that we understand the importance of reading labels, of understanding labels, of perceiving labels. Uh, Hence, I think the rationale behind including this particular guideline into the top 17 guidelines was that to help consumers make an informed choice. Most of the food items that we see are available in pre-packaged form, made be the ready to go, the ready to eat, the ready to cook, any forms, making it essential that consumers understand what is inside the package, what exactly are they paying for, what exactly are they putting inside themselves. Uh, and the second part, which I think the statistic mentioned here shows you 50% of Indian consumers are very likely influenced by the claims that they see on front of the pack. It says low fat, it says high fiber, and yes, chalo ye hamare liye acha hoga. So the assumption or the perception of nutritional quality that most of the non-technical consumers have needs to be enhanced, and I think that is what this particular guideline aims to do. Just a quick overview of what the guideline talks about. Uh, uh, Before I go in delve into of the guideline, a quick survey that I would like to mention here is a survey was done asking if we look at the nutrition labels before buying or consuming a product. And in fact, I think the right question is how many of us even look at the label before buying or consuming a product? Here it said that 93% of Indians answered yes when they were asked this question. But on a deeper understanding, on further inquiry, it came to light that these labels are only confined to brand name, to comparing brands, to looking at the price, to looking at the date of expiry, and very less or negligible importance is given to nutrition facts, as most of the consumers are not scientists, as most of the consumers are not experts of the field. They do not understand the nutrition jargon or the label jargon that comes along with it. Hence, this guideline helps decoding the key components to look for on a label. The product information, we all know the name, weight, manufacturer details, etc. The ingredient list, many of us don't even know that it is in the descending order by weight. Most consumers are unaware. In a very candid chat with my own family members, I understood that this information is not even available to them. Despite me being in the field, despite me being working for this field, I've not been able to disseminate this information even between my own family members. So I think that lack that is there is needed to be bridged in order to help consumers make informed choices. The dates, the manufacturer expiry dates, the allergen declarations, instructions related to storage, usage, and finally, the most important, the symbols and the terms. We have wide variety of symbols present on our food packages. The ISI mark, the ag mark, the fortification mark, the vegetarian logo. And I think amongst this, the most prevalent and known logo is either the veg and non-veg logo. There are a few people after that who know about the FSSAI mark, then the ISI, AgMark very less, and the newest logos, the Jai Bharat logo, the vegan logo, the Plus F logos, are yet to be that uh, convalescent or that easy to recognize for people. And hence, it is important that these logos are constantly bombarded on people's minds. People are constantly made to known of what they mean, what they perceive, what why they are there on your particular product. Second part of this guideline explains navigation of nutritional facts. Now, when it comes to nutritional facts, the most important part is serving size. Most of our nutrition facts, according to our FSSAI regulations, are given as per the serving size of the product. And this is a foundation for understanding what your product contains nutritionally. Dividing nutrition into, I think we have the best of the nutritionists here, so I don't need to delve into this, but we a balance between energy intake, a balance between macro and micronutrients. Each of these help the consumer tailor the diet to their specific health needs. Finally, decoding the claims. The document wonderfully explains what the types of claims are, but what I feel is a flip side of these claims has not been mentioned. It does, what I can say, it does mention on what these claims can falsely provide you, but it does not explain what the claims rightly say about the products. So I think a pro and con version of these claims should have been given in this guideline. Then it does talk about the potential misleading claims. As I said, it talks about the cons. A pro version of these claims should also be mentioned. And finally, the critical evaluation tips teaching consumers on how to verify these claims against actual nutritional facts. Now, the targeted impact on the consumers of this particular guideline, I feel first is the improved nutritional awareness. So, reading food labels leads to greater understanding of the nutritional content. We all know that. Uh, India, I think, ranks is the second largest producer in the food and agri sector. When we are this high on feeding this vast population, it becomes utmost important that the consumer of this country understand and nutritionally aware of what their body requires, of what they need in order to progressively lead a healthy life. And I think that will come only when they start reading labels easily. A survey by IFIC states that 72% of the label readers are more aware of their food choices. Second, I think, is healthier dietary choices. The label reading correlates with reduced intake of harmful nutrients. Certainly, those who read their label and understand them, which is what I'm coming to next, are more likely to make healthy dietary choices. Third, support for specific dietary goals. Now, of course, those people who are on a diet who understand what their dietary requirements are likely to understand the critical terms, the technical terms that are there on these labels. Even though, as I can see in a survey here, those who identify as vegetarians, out of them, only 37% of them read labels. Or those who identify as gluten free, only 42% of them read labels, which means not even half of these populations are actually interested in reading about what they are consuming is about, what are the attributes of the food they are consuming. Fourth is the increased trust and transparency. About 78% of consumers report that if we get a clear and accurate food label, if we are, of course, everybody is more likely to trust an information that is clear, that is concise, that is to the point. And thus the concept of clean label comes in. And I think when consumers start reading these clear and accurate food labels, when they get such accurate food labels, they will come ahead to trust these food brands more. Allergy and sensitivity management. India is a country that has been increasingly being aware of the rise in autoimmune disorders. More and more people are either allergic to one or the other components of food, or are sensitive to one or the other components of food. And I think when people start relying on labels, when people start reading what is present on their labels, the reactions or the ill reactions that happen after consuming the foods will drastically reduce. Lastly, the long term health outcomes. There's a widespread adoption of label reading that has the potential to improve public health. If we start now, like a concept of each one comes ahead, I think people, as more and more people become more educated, more informed on label choices, on label reading, it will have a long term effect on the population. Lastly, I come to the recommendations for this guideline. First is a recommendation for implementation. Uh, I think the DJI guidelines that came in were, as Shubham rightly said, it shook us all. It created a full boom blast about the industry, and each and everyone was talking it. But then again, it was only restricted to the industry. While the news channels and everybody was still talking about them, still portraying them, still creating some or the other confusions regarding these guidelines, the common man, the consumer, was vastly unaware or either misinformed about these guidelines. So my first suggestion for recommendation or implementation of these guidelines is workshops. When I speak respectively to this particular guideline, labeling workshops. Uh, Technical people, food business operators, retailers are still very much aware of what the label reads or what are the techniques, but the consumers are vastly unaware. I think that is the point that should be hit. We should start educating and creating awareness amongst the consumers on how label is read. Uh, then comes the in-store assistance. We have salespeople running after us left and right when we enter a food supermarket or a mall, telling us to buy this, telling us to buy that. As I talk about in-store assistance, there should be clear-cut trained staff, which which assists the consumers on what these labels are saying. Online resources. Google is our best friend these days. People are more likely to contact Google on what is happening to them than they are to go to a doctor. So, online resources, user-friendly online resources, if they come up and create accessible information on deciphering food labels and understanding nutritional content, it is most important. And clear communication again. Workshops like this, I think, are more important to encourage manufacturers to use clear, concise language and to easily communicate the information to those non-technical consumers who don't understand the technical jargon. Finally, the recommendations for content inclusion, what lacks in these guidelines related to labels?
Thank you, Samiksha. Thank you very much.